Okay, so the book is going to say this. These are all the tools you need. Just these. That's all you need, according to them. Well, my experience from building the first one, I recognize that you need a few more things. More than just what they suggest. The drill, not so much. More for mounting, I could see where the drill would be needed. But the other things, believe it or not, because of the press board and how cheap it can be, I recommend a few other things. Hot glue gun's a good idea. Some clamps for when you have to use the hot glue gun. Sometimes you even have to use the staple gun because, well, the wood doesn't stick together. So these are all the tools I found to be very handy when it comes to putting this damn thing together. If not for the actual construction, to actually keep it together for when the cheap material falls apart, you need to figure out a way to modify it. So these are the parts that I recommend when putting one of these things together. Oh, and by the way, these are little padded feet. And I'll show you that near the end, of course, what we do with those. Those are to put it at the front to keep it from toppling over. But we'll get into more of that at the end of the video, so stay tuned with that. Alright, so let's move forward with this. We have a few recordings going on. Hopefully get some good angles, and we will go from there. So let's get to it. So, good clean work environment makes sense. Process of laying everything out makes it a little easier. That way we can run a little smoother. And hopefully the cameras keep moving. And yeah, I'm an old guy, I'm bulbing, I'm getting gray, and I'm a little on the big side, but hey, I don't care, because, well, I've earned my 50 years. Okay, so they say never, ever, ever use a X-Acto knife. I'm going to. But carefully do it. And only go so lightly just to get in the surface and on the corner. It'll make sense in a second. As you can see, it's just padding on the side, right? So this makes it a lot easier to get out everything. Now, it's a matter of finding a place to work on everything with. So I'll put this over here. So if you plan out your environment, it's a lot better so you can access stuff readily. I find since I know the order of operations of what I did last time, the same thing this time. That's a door. Another door. Which are the last things you deal with? This is actually the center. So we're going to want that a lot sooner than the other ones. Okay, then just make sure you got all your pieces out. And ta-da. Ta-da. All right. Be right back. Okay, on with the build. Covers all your pieces, you know, what's what, so you know that's what we're building today. That helps you out at all. So we're gonna look at this. Blah, 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 blah. All right. So since I've already done one of these, I know some of these instructions. So we're basically going to do this. Start with these two pieces, and then go from there. And usually I would keep some of the packaging around, but really not needed. Or so just get in the way. All right. So I find if we unbox the pieces first.
pieces because it's fun. Do that right away. Man, that's lots there. Okay. Two. Okay, so in this, I'm looking at 18s for that. And I'm looking at 19s for that. Definitely not going to be any of those. Thanks. Try to keep everything together, that way you don't get confused. Five, and it's 25. For this. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10. That is the complete package. And we need 2 for this. And all is we need is an E and an L. And an L. F. These are shells. So, as per the instructions, finish surface there, that goes there. Let's extend it over there. And then of course these go into those. And Bob's your uncle. Get back to that in a sec. And Bob. We'll get back to Bob in a second as well. I say just knock out the easiest things first. You probably have to make readjustments later on. An adjustable screwdriver comes in handy. You know, the kind that's works with you. You don't have to constantly turn in one direction. A good quality one makes a huge difference. I have no sponsors on this channel yet, but this is a Cobalt. I got this from Rona, which is a division of Lowe's, and yeah, really well done. I really like the quality of it. That's the best one I've had. I bought cheap ones other places, not the same thing. So work in whatever environment is comfortable for you. Keep in mind, a lot of these adjustments are something that you have to readjust as you go along. Right now, just consider them placeholders. Unless you want to take the meticulous time of actually straightening up everything and making sure it's, you know, exact. It all depends on how much of a perfectionist you are. I find the most direct to the quickest resolve works best. Now, not everybody's made for this kind of work. I've seen to be the go-to for family and in-laws and stuff like that when it comes to constructing this stuff because of, I don't know, in my blood. My grandfather did building stuff and he's a craftsman, woodworking, he made pool tables, amongst other things, house renovations, etc. I've always been good with building stuff, good with my hands. Haha, yeah, I know what you're thinking. But no. I spent 8 years as a professional dealer. And no, not the drug kind, the card dealing kind. I got to all-star level, and then I had a moral dilemma. And I quit the industry and got into computers and IT. Which now I work for one of the leading computer security companies in the world. And on weekends I build pantries. Alright, stage 1 and 2 done. I guess I don't need them until later. Okay. Alright, let's move on. Step number 2. Yeah, I know these glasses aren't the most flattering, but hey, you know what? They do the trick, that's all I care about. Alright. Use 19s over here. Look at that, we use 19s over there. Now we're going to flip this sucker over. And put it on. Yeah, this is where you make your adjustments if it doesn't line up 100%. Oh, those guys are lining up. One thing you gotta realize with building cabinets, it's not always just 100%. I mean, we're not talking the best of quality here when it comes to these IKEA types. Now, this is not IKEA. IKEA is a little easier to build, but when it comes to this pressed wood type stuff, yeah, it's not your best quality. It's one step up from cardboard, in my opinion. So, but availability, affordability, all that stuff, that's what makes it attractive, I guess, to a certain degree. There's no way we were going to pay $500 and some for, you know, a friggin' pantry. we're not the 1%. We're not rich. We work like 40 plus hours a week. I have like 2 jobs. Then don't even get me started on the job of raising a kid. That's a job in itself. So yeah. Long story short. Now, you can be a perfectionist, undo and redo and undo and redo, because I have a tendency to do that, because, well, I'm anal when it comes to that kind of thing, but it all depends on how much you care about the work you do. I have a very strong work ethic, so I have a tendency to redo again, and some people might call it ADHD, some people might call it whatever they want. I don't give a rat's ass, as my wife would say. Okay, now we're going to need a bunch of 13s and a KK. Just a KK, not KKK, because I don't want to upset anybody. It's going on about pigment rights and everything else, which it's a thing these days. Time to adjust my shirt so I can spare you the try my ass to thank you later. Oh wait, hang on a second. That's going to D. That's not going to this. So let's move this over. I'll put it here just so you can see what's been done, and then D. Alright, so there's D. Arrow up. Finish side 8. Arrow up. Finish side 8. What we get? Always find placing them and then worrying about screwing them is always the best thing. Place them a little. This way you know you get your holes lined up. Place them a little. Remember, this is pressed wood fake. You pretty much have to make sure you're very sensitive with this stuff until you actually have everything together. Yeah. Okay, holes lined up. I always find starting from the center makes more sense. And just adjust accordingly. Kick it on home. There you go. What I'm doing is I'm trying to keep this flat, like as much as possible as I screw it in, just so I can try to make it flush. As much as possible. I mean, you kind of have to know it's there. You really can't notice at first glance, so. You kind of have to run your finger on it to know it's been done, right? you don't have to haul off on securing it. Because then honestly, you only have to be so secure. Like, it's snug. It's not supposed to be crank it. And in this particular case, we do the same thing for the back end. Because if you crank it, you're going to strip it. I know it's the best word, but you're pretty much going to make it so it's no longer actually going to grip. If it doesn't grip, it's not secured. If it's not secure, then you're kind of shit out of luck. Some people are like, why are you trying to make yourself look so much more attractive when it comes to the camera? I'm like, you know, I'm 50 years old, I got a wife, I got a kid, I got a career. You get to a certain point where vanity, not something you give a crap about. Alright, now we're off to the fun section, which usually, first time around, caused me to have to use the glue gun. Let's see if it's the same situation today. Okay. I'm going to move that one up there for now. Okay, we need C, senor. Aha! I'm smartly left C where it was. Okay. So, this is C. And C has a special hole configuration, which I need to make sure I follow. Okay, back to this. So what have we done? We have done, this part's been done. And then we have done, and that part's been done. And then done. We have done this page too. Okay, now we are heading to step 4. Here's step 4. Alright, so you got to remember that there's these holes in the front, which is that piece I took out, the long one, and also got to remember this is the front kick plate. Basically what we're doing here is we're putting the remainder 18s, and we only have 2 more left, with these brackets top of that centerpiece, and then we're going to put some of the longer 13s here to the bottom to keep it secure. So that is what we're doing. 18s. The 18s are keeping that in place. Okay, excellent. So that would make this here. Comme ça. And then here. I think what we're going to do is probably a lot easier to get these on here. So these are 8s. On the brackets. 8s. So you know. These things here. What am I gonna move? Yeah, when that happens. These things here. That's what we're gonna do. Okay, so we'll take our 8s, put them in with our 18s. And we have a trusty screwdriver, hides back here. This time around I did this when it was on the floor. It's a different story. So I'll do it when it's upright. If, you know, my old cautious self can actually hold on to stuff. Probably not the time or the place. This is one piece that you'll definitely have to adjust later. How is that possible? Well, anything's possible. That's why you're going to have to readjust it later. Alright, we're going to grab a couple of these bad boys. Look up on the ground. And this is where the first time around I had slippage. Hopefully, I don't this time. All right, let's see if we can not repeat the same mistakes. What's this again? Because I think, yeah, I'll try to avoid you getting much of my ass in your face. Yeah, so the first time I did this, I had to deal with pieces not liking to play nice together. This time, on this one, it was lot smoother. Snug as snug. When I did the first one, this split. That wasn't good. That part split, and I was just like, oh man. So I had to separate it. I had to put the hot glue gun out, put some glue into it, put it together. Yeah, it kind of sucked. This time, I got lucky. Yay me. Okay. So this is where we're at. Step 5. Not going to bother with this. These are not actually screws. Well, actually, those are screws. Yeah, but then they said put caps on. So I'll put the screws in, and then I'm moving over to F, which will be the top internal shelf. Again, with 13s. You use a lot of the 13s. So I'm going to grab F. Which way did F want to go? Molding on the shelf should be here, they say. So that would mean this. I think I did the first time too. Yes, I did. Because it made sense. Okay, 2 here, 2 there. I find if you stagger it, it's a lot better. That way you make sure you kind of get even amount on both. These aren't real wood floors. My wife would probably not be too happy. Then again, whatever these days. Frankly, environmentally conscious, whatever. Feed spark to Mother Nature. You're not going to use real wood anyways. Because that's just catering to all the crooks and all the wrong people that are cutting down the planet's trees, which we need. People just don't seem to realize that as they're driving around aimlessly in their cars. Okay. Step 5 is done. Oh, wait, I still need to do teens. Okay, not really working the best. So, well, although it's not 100% practical to put it on an end, it's either this or get on the ground. So, all I'm going to do is I'm going to loosen and loosen. First time I did this, I was actually lying on the ground. Now I'm going to go around and adjust everything when we're all said and done anyways. My screw. Oops. Sorry for that. You got your own bouncy. Honesty, I figured I'd make this video only because I read some of the comments before I bought it. I'm like, you know what? This might just be helpful for some people, so they know what they're getting themselves into. Fade any more than I need to. Okay. We'll tighten that later. Alrighty then. My wife originally wanted the white one. That didn't happen. Let's see, where's it go? Now, so we just did that part. Step 5. Step 6 says, hey, why don't you get into doing that stuff, right? And you could technically put those on your doors now, if you find it's easier, or you can do it later. Right, so step 6. First time I didn't. First time I put it on after the fact. This time, I'm going to put it on before the fact. Alright, so what are we looking at? Looking at these. Basically what we're doing here, these suckers are going on the doors. Alright, here's your doors. Nice flat surface. Call it a day. 3 here. I just want to double check, make sure. Okay, spiky goes to the outside. Or in slit, whatever goes to the outside. Okay, so what I've noticed about these things, it's actually easier to push them all the way through and then do it. Because they're like really stiff. So what I recommend doing is screwing them all the way in. Let's see if I can get this here for you. Screwing them all the way in, like that. That way they're a little more loose. And I've cut myself yesterday because of the damn thing, it's sharp. So be aware of that. So you push them through, you don't have to struggle after the fact, and they're a lot easier to go in the holes. And then line them up. I just want to give you a pro tip at this point. I know it's a little ahead of the game, but I want to give you an idea of how everything fits together once you put the doors on the frame. This is one thing I've learned after the fact. Do you see this? Do you see how there's that slot right there? Okay, you see this? This is the side that goes on the door. This little thing here, just so you can see, this little thing there. I don't know if you can see that. This thing here goes into that thing there. Comes. So basically what you're doing is you're dealing with trying to get this into here, right? That's going to go into there, but you have to line it up that that little thing there goes into there as well. See that? See how that goes into there? Yeah. So this is what you're dealing with here, and this is what you're dealing with here. So this slot goes around that screw, but then you also have to make sure that when you put the door on, this is flat enough that that little latch is going in here. So you have that, you have that, that's it. But people are like, oh, it's not fitting together. You can fit it together, you just have to know, how it fits together. Takes the mystery out if you know how pieces fit, so you understand. First you don't succeed, try again. Recording? We are good. Don't want you guys to miss any of this exciting stuff. Son of a bitch. Frig, that hurts. Doesn't work one way, back it out. Try again. Or do the reverse. Pull the screwdriver. Turn the bit around the screwdriver. My daughter, she's loud. She comes down the stairs like very heavy-footed. It's all those muscles from swimming. Yeah, it's my wonderful birthday stuff coming up. Family's coming over the next couple of days. Maybe I'll be Pantry. Okay, so then I am familiar, of course, how a lot of this works. This one, remember this cabinet is reversed, right? So this goes here. You gotta remember which way you faced it. So I faced it this way. This is how I know this is going this way. You can also tell this particular cabinet because this is going this far out and there's holes that line up with this side piece to screw it into there. So it comes out of a logic basis. Does this fit into there? Does that fit into there? Match it up. Match it up. Let's get the other side done. You gotta remember, they thought these things out, so everything does fit. I hear these people in arguments and reviews saying, doesn't fit, it doesn't work, it doesn't have this, doesn't have that. Take some time, think about it. Think about it. Unless there is physically something missing, everything's supposed to fit together. And sometimes you will have extra pieces, and if you have extra pieces, read the manual, see whether or not it's supposed to come with extra pieces. And if it's supposed to come with extra pieces, then you're okay. Just make sure that you fill all the holes, and then go from there. Always try to put screws in correctly. The bolt straight. Otherwise, they'll get warped, and you can't blame the manufacturer for that. I swear some people like to complain just because they like to complain. Believe it or not, there's a certain level of quality control on this, right? It costs the manufacturer more money for replacing a unit than it does actually sell the unit at times. It's a little smaller than it should be. Okay, so I'll quickly show you here what we did. That's how it ends up going on. That's the front of the cabinet, right? So there's holes underneath here, of course, obviously. Okay, so now place this there. Now that part's done. I don't know if you remember one of the earlier parts we did. Two of the lips. That's what we're going to work on next. So, step 7. That part we worked on earlier. This, of course, is the foot, what you're seeing right here. And then there's that. This is when we do a lot of the screwing together. All right. So it's pretty much, we're putting the sides on the cabinet, we're putting the top of the cabinet, and it's screwing everything together. So it's going to be a little bit of a process that we might have to speed up the camera for. Maybe I'll do something different, but we'll figure it out. 13s, those are my last two 19s. All right. Where did I put that? It's the front. There it is. Really watch yourself around this stuff because it's fragile enough that it will break if you step on it. And then all your efforts will be in vain. And we don't want that. Just starting on the solid parts first. Here. I would just place screws for now and then worry about the screwing in later. As much as you can actually reach certain places. There's always going to be adjustments in this stuff. Come on. Get in. You got this. Okay, so my camera died. The one on my forehead. So I had to go change batteries and all that stuff. So all you really missed is the last part of the video. I was putting in the hardware for the sides, and then I put the sides on the cabinet. And what I was going over was, when it comes to these screws, place each one of them into the holes just as a placement so you know where they go, and then from that point just gradually start screwing them in, right? As you can see, we've done some here. So what I would start with would be like the solid ones that are in solid parts, like here and here and here, and then just work your way around on both sides. So I do a couple on one side, switch to the other side. That's all you missed in that time that the camera died. It's a good thing I actually caught it, switched batteries, and all that fun stuff. Alright, so now all you do is you go way along. I would like to start from the bottom, move it away, bottom to top, and then do the center. Way to go about doing these. Fortunately, this cabinet has been a lot more agreeable than the last one, which I've had to use repair methods on. This time, not so much. So once you've done top ones, bottom ones, then I would move to the center ones. These are a little, this is where I just built these before, pretty flimsy, right? So if you don't get it straight on, well, I've had a splittage in the previous cabinet. Funny how something can come off the same assembly line and respond completely different. I see that in IT when I'm doing support. I'm like looking at products going, hang on a second, these are the same batch, same assembly line. One's not working, the other one is. What the hell, you know? Hey, maybe I should do the video on the first one. Show him the repair techniques. Okay, so we're completely screwed together now. All right, everything is secure. You got your frame, which is the main thing. Now, one thing you don't, oh, I did forget one thing. I forgot. So I gotta do this one. So you guys go in your face. Oh, yeah. There was more down here. See how this gives structure, right? Flat surfaces, blah, blah, blah. Now would be the time I'd go around and actually secure any screws and whatnot. Okay, done it. Screws put together. That step is done. Again, for your courtesy, for your benefit, I'm making sure I'm not moving you. Alrighty then. Recording still good. That's for your benefit. So you don't have to see the receding hairline and the shine on my forehead. Trust me, it's to a certain point you don't really care about all that crap. It's trivial. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, and toasters and everything else, we've done this part. This is the last part that we were doing there. Puts the frame together, puts the sides on. This is the last part we just did here. As you can see, I put the right there. See? It's the last thing I just did. Alright. Step 8. Now this was really well thought out, step 8. So this is the back panel. And if anybody's built any IKEA stuff that has a back panel like this, you have to put nails in. I'm willing to bet everybody at one point has actually put the nail in the wrong place and put it right through where it's shown on the other side. Not so fun. This did it a lot better. So make sure you put the pattern on the inside, right? So when you open the door, you don't see the back. This cabinet did it really well in the sense that they actually put an up arrow, which is obviously the up part of it. And I think at this point I can pull that back a little more for you. Get rid of that because it turns out I didn't need it. Biggest thing is lining this up. You have extra room to play with, which I didn't think of in the first go of it. Distance on the outsides. This one's sitting a lot better than the first one. For sure. All right. Then we get our little nail screws. We call them nail screws. I'll show you why in a second. If you actually look at them, they have like a screw type surface to them. Again, it's for grip, I know that, but it's just kind of funny. So, you can't really tell from this side. I'll show you the other side actually. Get a better idea. It's back the way it was. Okay. Handle these. Okay. So you see at this end, when you push that up, that corresponds to that. So, if you set this up right, when you start putting screws or nails in, that's actually going to be a good place. Now, it doesn't hurt to check and recheck again because you really don't want to screw this up, because this would be pretty noticeable when all said and done. All right, so I'm going to start base here. You can use it if you want, whatever floats your boat. I find a good squaring off is a good place to start, and we make sure that everything stays lined up. Because if stuff shifts, then you're off, your sides are off. When all's said and done, it doesn't line up right, and that's just not good for anything. Whatever you do. That will ruin your day. Smaller hammer, not a bad idea. And this is why I wear the big glasses. Because they work. adjustment, as you can see. I could have sworn I dropped a screw. I guess I didn't. Careful when you move it like that though. You might be making marks in the front. Doors will cover it, but that doesn't help, particularly are on scratches. all these holes. And the question is, I have one left. Where the hell did I miss it? I think this falls under the category of expertise. Alright. Parts. Okay, so now that this part's done, dun, 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 dun. Step 8. Step 8, it's done. Step 9. Ah, yes, step 9. Time for the hardware on the doors, which is pretty much this thing. I showed you earlier on. Over here. Showed you this earlier on how it fit together with the other piece. If not, roll back the camera. I'm going to start with this and lift this to begin with, just so you can have something to look at. Ta-da! There's a little slip tight there. Alright, I'll put it down here. Because there's other stuff you should go on it, like the feet. But I wanted to give you a rough idea what we're looking at this point. Okay, so eighteens. Need the 18s. So where we need the 18s. No, can't be the 18s. I use all the 18s. Seventeens. Could you close the door, please? Close the door, please. Recording down here.
Okay, are you almost done, honey?
Yep. Alright. Grab your hardware for your doors. Just pretty much these things. Alright, grab the hardware. I'm grabbing the screws. It's dirty work, someone's got to do it. Boom. Boom. And now I suggest putting one in and then doing the other. Like, don't tighten them all at the same time. So, one in. Why is this, you say? Well, it's to balance things off, right? Because if you completely put one in tight all the way, and the other one needs a little bit of give, it doesn't work very well. So, put them all in a little bit, and then screw it in. As I said, it doesn't have to be super tight. It has to be snug. That's it. Snug is snug. Snug, snug. Snug, snug. Snug, snug. Now, this is like anything. It's like stuff you learn over time. You know, you watch those guys that do any sort of skilled type position, right? It's not something you start out as. You know, they make it look so easy. Like, oh, what are you complaining about? This is easy to do. Well, no one starts out being a master at something. It takes time, practice, patience. Anybody that tells you differently is full of crap. Don't get me wrong. I have met naturals in my life in different fields. They're just gifted. They just get it. But it's the exception, not the rule. Okay, hardware done. Well, that part's done. Okay, I'm gonna move on to probably breaking the order of operations, but kind of have an idea. And if you're gonna put this thing on end, you're gonna want to make sure that it doesn't scratch the floor and it doesn't ruin the thing. Cabinet. So what I'm doing here, so you can see what I'm doing here. Okay. So the book, the manual, the instructions say put these evenly spaced about X number of blah blah blah. Just use some common sense, balance. Center it there on both sides, on the back end. Now, it doesn't have to be perfect. I mean, if you want to be picky, you can tape measure it. Some people like to be precise. Fine, be precise. Whatever works for you, it's your thing. That's all I'm doing is putting these things on there. Blah, blah, blah. Well, same thing on the other side. We got a rough idea. Pretty close. Okay. Now here's one added step of what I'm doing. I'm with these things. These are like from the dollar store. That's all these are. There's like dollar store little felt things. I'll tell you why I'm doing this. Because they say strap it and whatever, secure it to the wall. Okay, that's fine. But until you get around to that, if you put these little suckers on there, what you're doing is that you're pushing it forward. Or sorry, pushing it backwards. So you're putting it on an edge. So extra resistance. She's not rocking. I mean, it's minimal. It's not, you know, anything more than that, but it's a little extra. I don't know, you feel a little better about it. So I'm doing it. Okay, so now the moment of truth. I'm gonna bring it up, put it into place. Because the structure is done. The frame is done. The feet are on. Let's bring it up. Again. Slide's a lot easier the way it is now. A few things that we didn't get. We did miss a few of the screws because we just did. Floor shows over. Let's bring it up. Okay, so we missed a few screws here. Basically what we're looking at here is here, 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 here. Now, when it's up like this, it's also a good opportunity to start screwing everything in place. So, I would like tighten everything at this point, put in the remainder screws, which I did. Being patient with me when I do this. Oh, because I made the effort to make this for her today because she requested it. Alright, so I'm filling in missing screws. I'm taking the opportunity as well to tighten everything now that it's upright. Things shift, things loosen. So take the opportunity to tighten things up. My belly. Got my belly. Very good. Get her down. Get her down. And I'm just securing. A little extra twist, a little extra security on that one. Okay. Oh, well. Did I do that on the other one? No, I did not. Okay. Well, that's something I've just come to the realization on. That extra screws down at the bottom here. Take a look. I guess I missed that step. That was my bad. is. So maybe I didn't get extra pieces in the last one. This is why you take another look, right? Take another check, look around, do roundabout, you know. With that being said, I'm gonna take my extra screws I thought I had for my first one. They weren't. Fix it. It's not that way. Alright, so here are my screws from the first one, which turns out weren't extra. Man, how heavy is this thing now? Yes. Stick it in here. Yeah. Oops. Get the camera in, shall we? Okay, so we learned something there. Now, at this point, I would once you are convinced you've covered all your bases, so secure everything. Now we move into place. You're dreaming if you think you're going to line up properly. They won't. They won't. That'll do. Okay. Now the fun part. Make sure we got. Now, one last thing that we missed was which I guess has some purpose. Because we'll put it on. Okay. One of these. Now, I'm not sure if this is to represent where the door goes, but they're here nonetheless. And I'm pretty sure if you know the answer, please, by all means, leave it in the comments below as to trying to explain the point of this. It does fit into another plastic piece I put on earlier. But I guess the word is redundant. Seems kind of pointless. So, either way, this is the door we're going to put on first. Now, as I mentioned earlier, everything has to line up, right? So, what I've noticed, it's best to have these pulled out as much as possible. Screw these as much as possible. And these pretty much leave all the way out. And then just try to line up. The flatter the better as you're trying to put these things in though. That way, you're hoping it gets in the slot. Looks good. And this is where the two-person person is. first one. That was like bang on. First one. Second one, not so much. I don't think that's slotted properly. These slotted properly though. This one didn't. Because they're kind of all conjoined. Oops. Now, you can fuss at that as you go along. It's hit and miss thing. And it's more like just fine tuning. And for the most part, that works. Then I wouldn't worry about it. It's pretty much straight. Floor is not even. These aren't going to line up. You can level it off later if you want, but I'm going to move forward. Same thing for the other side. Same deal. Isn't going to be perfect. And as I said, all depends on how perfect you want it to be. You can usually tell by when you put stuff together. Yeah, see how that worked? Yeah, that's not straight as much as some would like it to be. But, again, it comes down to how anal do you want to be. And that's not even straight either. And I could get like really picky. But for the most part, that's decent. The functionality of what it's doing, not that big of a deal. That's a big deal. Doors won't open independent look at each other. So I'm just getting a little bit of a space between the two. Unfortunately. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You just have to. So what I would suggest in that particular situation, put something between them. Relevant, you know. Like, I don't know, your TCP/IP book from school. This way, you know that's as far as you could go. Get out of here. Nope, I gotta do. And of course, it's up to you how picky you want to be just putting everything together. I find the final stage, I'll turn it over to where I built it for. As you put on the actual handles. Now, if you're building this for a customer, you'll probably be spending a little more time with how spaced out everything is. And for the most part, you can adjust everything. You just have to take time and patience with it. You know, 'cause I read in the comments of, well, this, and this, you know, it's not straight, that's not straight. Well, how much time did you put into it? Did you spend the extra time to make it straight? You gotta see what you're working with. It's not gonna be perfect. But if you want it to be perfect, make the adjustments. On this build, I didn't have to do any fixes. So yeah, not everything's created equal. People that complain about it's flimsy, it falls apart, well, you just happen to get a bad one. Return it to the store. That was my first one. I've had to do fixes on. This one, no fixes. Everything was like bang on. No splits, no nothing. All right, good to go. Okay, so your last thing, of course, is your shelves, right? That's all you're missing in this. It's the last thing I'm going to show you, and then I have to call it quits because. I recommend using this. And if you want to seal up any unsightly screws, you can use this sticker pack that comes with most of them. Sticker pack. Here are little standoffs for the shelves. And these simply just go into the holes. You'll find holes, and all you need to do is stick it in the hole. Make sure that the other side matches up. Okay. And then once all said and done, your shelves. Shelves it. Shelves it, of course, the right way. I recommend, if you're going to put in shelving, when it's like this, I recommend you start with the center, right, and then over. So put your lower end in the center and then pry out to the outside versus into the inside. Do that for both sides. Inside over the outside. That's it, that's all. So find your heights for your shelves. I'm going to show you one example. And of course also why I have this here. So I'm going to go to the top shelf here. Put it in. Whack. That's basically it. Corresponding shelf at the other side. Okay. And that's what the mallet's for. Just so you can give it a little bit of a smack in so you don't strain yourself and your fingers. Push it as far as it can go. You always go to the flat top, that's where the shelf's going on, and the bottom part gives support. Put it in. This one's going to be a little stubborn. Won't mount time. If you really want to get picky, you could get pliers and stuff. So get it into place. So as I was saying, in. It's going to be a little bit awkward. So I have to do this one first, unfortunately. The rest I would recommend that way from the center first. There you go. Shelves in. Do that for the remainder of your shelves. Fill her up. And away you go. That's it. That's all. So this is the new one, and of course it's the one that's already built. We've already started putting stuff in. Simple as that. Away you go. Cool. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have, by all means, please feel free to hit like, be part of the community, hit notify, and hey, make a donation if you want. It helps us out as well. Thanks for watching. Have yourself a great day, and hope you found this informative. This will work moving forward to like other devices, other. Look at the other camera here going now too. There you go, double camera. This will move forward to other cabinets, not just this particular model. You can use a lot of what I've taught you here with other models. So keep that into consideration. Use the same techniques, same methods. Those will be helpful as well. And yeah, as I said, if you found this helpful, please like, subscribe, and donate if you feel if it was worth your money, and go from there. Thanks again for watching, and hey, look at that, two again, and have yourself a great day. Thanks for watching. Bye bye. One, two. 2 hours for this building. That's craziness. What's going on? Need the cleanup.